Well, I think it's safe to say that the future is in good hands, whether it's the care and well-being and commemoration of veterans, whether it's preparing our future soldiers through cadets and school, or even the current army and preparing for what comes. That concludes the symposium. Chief, I invite you for some closing remarks.
As I said yesterday at the outset, we've been quite ambitious in terms of what we've sought to do, and that is to, the very least, contribute to a national conversation about things that matter to the society we serve and the government that we serve. To do that from a position of the Army, as I said, is ambitious, but it's important that we fulfil our obligations to the government of the day and the society that we serve, and I'm absolutely determined that we will play our part and we will fulfil our obligation. And these last couple of days, I think, have been a very credible and faithful and certainly well-intended way of starting to fulfil that obligation. It's not a topic that has often been the subject of our considerations, but it needs to be, certainly from time to time, because our Army exists in three dimensions. We are a profession, we are a national institution, and we are a fighting force. And it's the job of people like me and our Army senior leaders to ensure that we are nurturing and paying due care and attention to the Army in all three of those dimensions. I've learned a lot from the last couple of days, and we've been absolutely blessed to have among us and to hear from a broad range of experts, a broad range of people who are committed in various social, academic or applied disciplines that represent in a very broad way the society that we are drawn from and that we exist to serve. One of the things I take away from these last couple of days was I've been going through my own assessment of the 4 strategic priorities that I set for our Army in July of 2022: trust, readiness, resource stewardship, and telling our story. And nothing I've heard in the last couple of days would lead me to think that we need to depart from those, certainly in the short term. It's reinforced the requirement for us to make sure that we double down, particularly when it comes to trust and particularly when it comes to telling our story. That is communicating with the society we serve, communicating with the government of the day, and working with and communicating with our colleagues and partners across other institutions. I'll come back to a quote from Professor Dean's presentation yesterday, his keynote yesterday. He said, "The Army are the people and the people are the Army." And this speaks, I think, simply but very eloquently to the matter of jurisdiction. So the Army as a profession and what it is we provide for society that society can't provide for itself. And I think we've heard in most, if not all, of the panels and discussions over the last couple of days, a range of various different ways to approach that very simple distillation of the truth of that relationship. It's far more complex, but that really is, stood out to me at least, to be a fundamental distillation that we can all work with, regardless of what our part is. I am by nature an optimist, And there has been a lot of discussion about, as Dr. Garrick just very eloquently put, intergenerational politics. We've just published the 2025 version of Army's Professional Studies Study Guide, the artist formerly known as the Chief of Army's reading list. And I say a few words at the outset in the foreword, and immediately following that is a poem. And the poem is by Amalia Cales, who is a 15-year-old high school student from Boyup Brook District High School in the south of Western Australia. The RSM and I had the privilege of meeting Amalia when we were in Sandakan to commemorate Anzac Day this year. And the Boyup Brook District High School, sponsored by their local community Lions Club, have a Sandakan competition every year. And this year, Amalia won that competition with her poem. So she was there with her mother, Fiona, and she recited her poem in the clearing just short of the memorial where we just commemorated Anzac Day. And I included it in the study guide, and I'm going to take a few moments to share it with you now, because Amalia, a 15-year-old high school student from a small town in southwestern Australia, has distilled the experience of a prisoner of war on the Sandakan Renau Death March. And that, for me, is just a phenomenal insight into the next generation of Australians, their potential, what they're capable of, their alignment with the same values that have motivated Australians since Federation in 1901, and in particular, those who have worn this uniform. It's called A Shadow of Oneself by Amalia Cales, the Sandakan Scholar for 2024, and I'll try and do it justice. She recited it absolutely beautifully. One foot in front of the other, toes encrusted with tropical ulcers, fingers spotted with jungle rot. Japanese attitude, to hell with this lot. Trudge, breathe, trudge, breathe. Eyes down, humidity up. Ragged clothes cling to starved skeletal frames. Shots heard from the back of the line. What on earth has happened to mankind? Trudge, breathe, trudge, breathe. Primitive tools hack at the web of green, stomachs growl, leeches feast. Bodies are flogged with iron and rifle butts, scabies and maggots spread into cuts. Trudge, breathe, trudge, breathe. Renau camp is finally reached. Stragglers cold, restless sleep. Beards infested with crawling lice, a camp full of hunger, teeming with mice. Trudge, breathe, trudge, breathe. The death march continues for those deemed fit. Nightmares are reality, eyes play tricks. Hands to mouth reach for fungus, tree ferns and snails. Beriberi takes over, the nervous system fails. Trudge, breathe, trudge, breathe. A goodbye is mumbled, a brief hand is shook. A prisoner steps off the trail, a silent prayer is said. Stumble, gasp, a son, brother, soldier, dead. Now, if that doesn't give us some optimism and hope for the generation of Australians that will lead, operate, command our army, let alone lead, operate, shape the future of our nation, then I don't know what is. Thank you to all of you for being part of Army's obligation to our contract with the society that we serve. A particular thanks to our MC, Brigadier Michelle Campbell. Thank you, and we are just really so grateful and in awe of the contribution to this year's KEO Chair, Professor Risa Brooks, and this year's HACCP Chair, Professor Peter Dean, to all of our panellists, speakers, guests, to all of you, and most particularly to our future in the room, the 2025 Australian Army Junior Leadership Fellow. As I said to you on Monday when we met, this is all about you. You are our future, and this is the Army that you will lead, operate and command in the future. My job, our job, is to build your inheritance and set conditions for your service in support of the society that we exist to serve. Thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.